Okay, so today I'm going to show you, sorry my video is really laggy, my computer just doesn't like YouTube for some reason. I'm going to show you how to make your own Scarwax, and this is just basically half done. It's just Vaseline, petroleum jelly, it's the same thing, different brands. That's just your everyday kind of thing, big part of it. And flour, I use plain flour. I don't know if self-raising or any other kind of flour would make any difference. I think corn flour is supposed to be really good, but I only had plain flour. This is the best one myself. I'm not sure if anyone's done anything like this. If they have, then that's cool. Yeah, I was looking around and I couldn't find any Scarwax, so I had to make myself an alternative. And this is just kind of one that I came up with. So I'll put a bit more flour on here because it's still really kind of like Vaseline sticky. I want to be more of like a wax or a paste. I'm going to do a tutorial in some different steps. This is just going to be how to make the wax. I will do one on how to make some scar pieces. You see it's breaking up a bit, which is not what I want, but if you keep blending it will just kind of dry out a little bit. That's the kind of aim at this. To get the colour, because obviously Vaseline isn't kind of flesh toned, I used my foundation but 2 shades darker because Vaseline is kind of white. I didn't want to use a lot, otherwise it would just make it liquidy. So I just did a little bit of dark foundation because I'm quite pale. You can see that it's starting to thicken. It's not sticky anymore. It's still sticky. I'll add a bit more because it's still sticky. Don't worry about if it loses stickiness because you can use latex to put it onto your skin, or spirit gum. Like a normal latex piece, you'd use spirit gum to apply it. You probably could do it for this. I haven't got any spirit gum, but I have used latex to apply it. And that worked quite well. You really should coat it with latex afterwards, because I think it does dry out after a few hours. I haven't had it on for so long, but after 2 hours it started to crack a little bit. That's going to add to the effect. Okay, this is quite good. You know, you want to do that and not to stun your fingers too badly. I have got a towel laid down over my knees so I can wipe my hands at will. I'm going to add a tiny bit more, but not of flour. I'm going to just use John's baby powder because it really just soaks up moisture. That's why they put it on babies. I'm using the purple one just because I like the smell. Nothing to do with what the effect's like. You just use normal baby powder, or you can keep on using flour if you prefer to do that. Just want to do the whole kind of. I'm mixing it. I'll show you how to do it actually. Kind of like get that bit off the spoon, and I pass the bowl. Just kind of pressing down because I don't want to make a mess. I tried to do this in a jar or like a small bowl. It didn't really work because I didn't have enough room to spread. Okay, so that's looking much better. It's really thick, you know. I can't do that, it won't fall off. It's not liquidy. I should be able to do that without it sticking, which is what I've done. Once again, I'm going to use a tiny bit more. If you have any questions on like what kind of ratio to use, I used about 2 teaspoons of Vaseline. I then just added flour until I got the texture that I liked. But then obviously I'm adding baby powder, but that's just my personal preference. I would have done all baby powder, but I think that makes it too dry. Flour just kind of thickens it. I've already thickened it now. Okay, I'm happy with this. You can do that, and you know, there's literally no residue. It's just kind of paste. This next part is going to be a bit messy. You actually want to put it into like an airtight jar. I'm using a raspberry jar. It's got a bit of Vaseline in it already. Ideally, if you can, don't have one with Vaseline in it because it's just going to add Vaseline to your mixture. But I'm going to put some flour in there and shake it up so it doesn't stick to the edges. A little more than that. Once again, you don't have to do the stuff I do. It can just be a base for a recipe you want to make. If you do use this to make your own recipe, post a video response. I'd love to see it. Okay, so that's just kind of coated so it doesn't stick to the side. I don't know how long this lasts for. If I do find out, I'll leave this in here for a few weeks and see if it's still the same. I would recommend, as anything, if you open it, use it straight away. You'd use it with ketchup, use the same with this. Don't leave it open. Or just kind of use it as soon as you can, really. It's really quick to make. It's not something you have to do weeks in advance. You can do it on the day. Probably better if you do it on the day. Have a little practice with it before you go and do your final thing. Or if you're confident, just go do your final thing. Okay, towel, always a good idea. Your hands are going to get very sticky. Okay, so that's my jar of Scarwax. I'm going to do another tutorial on how to make the scar piece. I hope you enjoyed this and I hope it helps you. If you do any things with it, post a video response. I'd love to see it. Okay. Good luck and have a good Halloween.